Hey everybody, Danielle at These Enlightened Edits here, letting you know about a reading special that is happening and live now already on my website, Damsel Designs. That's DAMCLdesigns.com, which, as you probably know, is always linked in either the bio or description, depending on where you are viewing this on. If you are hopping on live, hello and welcome. Feel free to ask a question, but first I wanted to let you know that in celebration of Beltane, May Day, and Mother's Day, I have already started a reading special on my website. So from now until the end of day, Mother's Day here in the US, May 14th, 2023, 11:59 p.m., you can purchase any of the readings on my website for buy one, get one 14% off. That is actually a huge percent savings, especially if you are purchasing one of the larger and more expensive readings. This will be qualified for any and all of the readings available on my website, including quantum reading sessions where we work with your loved ones in spirit, as well as your spirit guide teams, and read from your own personal energy field, and including Akashic records and past and parallel life readings, quantum couples readings, psychic dream interpretation, passion pattern sessions where we work to get you in touch with the patterns in your love life, starseed support, twin flame transition sessions. I have so many different types of readings available on my website, and they all qualify for this special, including spirit animal medicine mini readings and quantum quickie readings, which are the most affordable types of readings I offer. Those start at $36, and all of them will qualify for the buy one get one 14% off. And any order over $50, you can also use a payment plan, so you can stretch out your payments and you will still be able to receive your reading or your gift certificate, because they're all available via gift certificate as well if you would like to gift them to a mother or special woman in your life. And you can use that payment plan if you need to, and it will still qualify you for the discount, including the fact that you can buy one now and take advantage of the buy one get one now and save them for up to a year to lock in that special pricing. These hardly ever go on percentage off, and this is actually, I believe, the most percentage off that I've ever done on the readings. So I hope that more of you will utilize that to have a special start to the month of May, and or a special celebration for yourself or the mothers in your life. So you know where to find that. If you would like to participate, please feel free to tell your friends. These are done and conducted via Zoom, except for the mini readings, of course, which tell you how they're conducted via email. But all the live sessions are conducted via Zoom. As long as you or the person that you are gifting it to speaks English, I can work with people and have been lucky to work with people all around the world and do currently accommodate all time zones. And I still have some openings for this beginning period of May. So if they would like to, or you would like to utilize your reading or gift certificate before we head into Mother's Day, you can do that. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the energy at hand. Right now, as I am recording this live and on live here on Instagram, it is April 30th. So tomorrow is May the 1st. That means tomorrow is Beltane and it is May Day. So what is that? Beltane started as a Celtic practice holiday, but it has since been adopted by many cultures throughout the world in the Northern Hemisphere, because this is a spring celebration. So Southern Hemisphere is not currently celebrating this because they are in a different season. But for all of us here in the Northern Hemisphere, now finally heading into the crux of spring, although by me it has yet to really feel like spring. We had a few summery days thrown in, but it's back to a little bit chilly. But I hope by you it's nice and warm and sunny. And this also means for this period, we are starting to finally head into the enjoyment of spring with the rebirth process. So although we welcomed spring with Ostara and the equinox that we had in March, now we really start to see that rebirth, or the birthing of the flowers, of the trees, of the leaves coming back to the trees, of the baby animals and all of the young coming out in nature. And many people will also take the cue from nature and go through a rebirth process of their own. And if you are doing that, or if you feel like you may be doing that, know that sometimes preceding a rebirth process, you are in the dark womb, or what can feel like a dark night of the soul, because yin energy or feminine energy is dark. Womb energy is dark until it opens up in that birth process. So if you have been feeling heavy darkness around you recently, ask yourself and your spirit guide teams, or ask me in a session if you'd like to book one, if you have been in this process headed towards a rebirth. Now, many of you will also notice that you might have been going through an underworld rebirth journey process. This is something that I've gone through several times personally and through several incarnations and based on several different pantheons. So I want to talk about that a little bit because it's not something that I hear a lot of people talk about. But if you have been going through a process where a lot seems to be thrown on you, you may have been going through a spiritual initiation subsequent to a rebirth. And so spiritual initiations or shamanic initiations, which is what I personally go through, but spiritual initiations anyone can go through, you don't have to be a shaman or a healer like myself, are when your guide teams and your soul seek to initiate you into a more powerful way of practice for your own self and or for yourself and those you serve, by really digging deep and going down into the depths of the soul, down into the depths of the unconscious, subconscious, or psyche. And this is where we also get that underworld journey. So personally, I have been through underworld journeys with Ra and Khepri. This would be a duat process if you are familiar with Egyptian pantheon. And I have also been on underworld journey with Inanna as well as Sekhmet. So Inanna is a Sumerian goddess, one of the oldest goddesses of our world, and Sekhmet is another Egyptian goddess. Now, you don't have to resonate with any of these. I know we were just talking about Celtic pantheon because of Beltane. As you probably know, if you follow me, I work with several different pantheons and many different types of religious practice and traditions, and have studied as many of them as possible in order to better resonate with as many of you and get you the right tools for your soul and spiritual journey. So you may find that you resonate more with a certain practice or a certain tradition of that underworld journey. This can happen with either masculine or feminine deities, as I just shared with you from my personal process. I've been through this with masculine deities such as Ra and Khepri, Osiris as well, and with feminine deities such as Inanna and Sekhmet. So it really depends on you, how and what you resonate with, and also where you are in your journey and what your soul and psyche needs at this time, because you may need a more feminine process even if you are a male or a masculine person, or you may need a more masculine process even if you are a female and a more feminine oriented person. Remember, masculine and feminine, especially in the forms of deity, are really just archetypes to help tap us into either doer energy for masculine or receiver energy for feminine. Both are creatrixes in their own way. So if that sounds like something that you're going through and you would like healing and support, I do also offer quantum and shamanic healing, as well as Sikhem energy healing and life and quantum consciousness coaching. So there is a link to apply for that if you would like in my bio and on my website, damseldesigns.com. Those I do not do on a session basis because we go so in depth with your soul. I do things like soul retrieval, shamanic soul retrieval as well. I like to really build your soul a custom quantum container and put you in a package where we help really dive to the root of issues, actually get to do in-depth healing for them, and are with you in a supportive integration process As you integrate that energy into your body, soul, and life, I want to make sure that you are supported in that process and in the new energy, which can frankly be a scary time. When you are healing something, remember you also need room for the integration and the getting used to it period of operating in reality with these new mindsets, with these new perspectives, with that negative perception or energy removed and replaced with something more positive, especially if it is a deeply ingrained habit for you. So I do have openings for that. I only offer several spots per month for energy healing and life and consciousness coaching clients, as I like to devote the most time and attention to you as possible. And we'll also be in touch in between your weekly sessions. So if that sounds good for you and you'd like to move beyond session work and into that energy healing and coaching realm with the utmost transformational support, you can apply for that, as I said, through the link in my bio and on my website, and we will set up a time to talk about your custom container. If you feel more comfortable starting with a session, you can do that as well, and we will incorporate that into a package for you if you choose to do so after your first session. But be aware, the first session would be a reading session, which you can purchase on my website. It would not be healing, as I am very strict with my guides about energy healing when we have you in that package to support you and the integration of that high vibrational energy. So that was a mouthful. I see I've had some of you popping in and out while I was speaking about that. Remember, as I'm talking and catching up with you, if you have questions that you would like to ask about any of this as well, feel free. Let's get back to talking about Beltane, because it took us on the energy of that rebirth, right? Which is something that I know a lot of us are experiencing, and many births are also happening around this time. We are currently in a Mercury retrograde period, so some of you may be weary about rebirth process during a retrograde. What can that mean and look like? Well, for some people it may look like having to redo part of the process, but if you get the jump on knowing that retro is about re-examining things, as you're going through the process, if you are intricate in your re-examination, you may not have to redo it, so that's not something that I want you to fear. Retro can, or the redo energy can, just be a facilitator of rebirth in itself, but Mercury retrograde coupled with the Beltane or May Day energy, and yes, I know some people pronounce Beltane slightly differently. Apologize if you pronounce it differently and I'm mispronouncing it, but Mercury retrograde coupled with the Beltane energy does mean a more powerful rebirth, so take advantage of that and really do some journaling, do some stream of consciousness writing and journaling. What do you want to rebirth in your life? Do you want to reinvigorate and rebirth your health sector of your life, or your financial sector of your life, or your inner child? What is it for you that is calling to be rebirthed and re-examined at this time, so that you can take advantage of these energies and help them jumpstart you in your healing? Now, if you listen to my podcast and you hear me talk about quantum creators and manifesting and all of that, you may know that I often remind you guys that you don't need a holiday, you don't need an angel number, you don't need a portal day to do any of these things. And you don't. Because you are your own creator, you are your own co-creator of your reality. You don't need to attach to the belief that many of these holidays and these special days hold. However, if you would like to utilize and kind of ride the crested wave of the program that's already running with this holiday or with this energy or this pre-programmed belief, you can ride over the top of it unattached to needing to be ruled over by certain spiritual aspects or certain spiritual days. And you can tap into utilizing that for your highest benefit if that particular holiday and the energies involved also serve something that you want to co-create in your life. So you do not have to be ruled over by this or by anything, but you can use it to your advantage. So why not do that, especially if you have any of these themes happening right now? Now, what are some other ways that you can celebrate in addition to utilizing these energies for healing or rebirth in your own ways? Well, You can get out in nature, right? That is so powerful. And if you don't have the energy right now, especially if you've been using a lot of energy in that contraction type rebirth process, just get out in nature. Enjoy viewing nature's rebirth and allow that and set the intention that that can help revitalize those energies in you if you need, want, and choose for it to. But connecting with the ground, connecting with a tree, you don't have to be a tree hugger. Put your hand on a tree. See what that feels like. Just lean on it. You don't have to be judged by others. See what it feels like to connect in with that energy. And just be in appreciation. That will help. And if you see beautiful baby animals that are out and around, send them kind of a nod of energy appreciation. And that could be a blessing to nature and to you. Hi, thank you for joining. If you have a question that you would like to ask, go ahead. I've just been also saying some energy updates about the Beltane and May Day holidays, and also about a reading special that I have on my website. But if you would like a mini reading live, go ahead and ask as well. So May Day is an alternative name, by the way, for Beltane. And May Day is celebrated in many areas, and many colleges as well have been celebrating this for hundreds of years. You may be familiar with the term maypole, even if you are not familiar with May Day or Beltane. Now, this is actually a ritual that many people have taken on just to celebrate spring and warm weather and sunshine. This is that act where we have the pole with the ribbons hanging from it and people dance around and sort of wrap the ribbons around. The pole is, of course, a phallic symbol, and this is a symbolization that many people have done and celebrated in some way for hundreds or thousands of years to usher in that kind of joining of the masculine and feminine energy in the culmination of rebirth. So that may be something that you want to explore as well in terms of doing something fun that way. There are a lot of festivals happening this week, even for people that are not pagan or spiritual. A lot of parks and places in the Northern Hemisphere will either have a bonfire celebration in celebration of that sacred fire, or they will have a maypole or something like that, or they'll have invitations for petting zoos or things to connect with the baby animals that are being born. You may be able and in a position or called to make donations to rescue farms or areas in your area or anywhere in the world now, thanks to the internet, to support animals. There are tons of things that you can do to help support Gaia and her rebirth process while also tapping into yours. And this is also a period of time, if you believe in nature spirits and or fae and fairy energies, which that I work with to my extent here in my part of the world and throughout the realms, and I enjoy that very much. This is also a time when they move from their wintering areas to their spring and summering areas, so you may get lucky and see a fae, but please remember there are positive and negative fae. Many fae do not want to be bothered, sorry to say. I know we think they're gorgeous and pretty and so intuitive and inspiring, and they are and can be, but just like people, there are some beautiful people that are nice and kind, and there are some beautiful people that do not want you to bother them. So respect that the way that you would respect an animal, not going too close. And if it feels like you're being intrusive, they're probably sending you a signal that you are being too intrusive. So back up, ignore them, be appreciative of the experience, but try not to mess with them too much. You can appreciate it later and nerd out about it in your own quarters when you're not going to be disturbing to them. If you don't already have a relationship with fae and nature spirits, this is probably not a time to try to open communication with them, as they are quite busy transitioning in seasons. But if you do have a relationship with certain ones, obviously go through your normal protocols of connection while still being in respect of the process that they may be going through at this time. That also means if you have a relationship with the nature spirit of a tree or a plant in particular, you're not going to want to harvest too much from that plant or from that tree at this time, as they're going to want to use a great deal of their energy for their own nature process. However, there are people who do harvest small bits of plant or tree and connect and gather that for certain fire rituals. Actually, Hearth Witch on YouTube has a great video all about that. She talked about the 9 tree ritual and so many wonderful things. So check that out if you are witchy or pagan inclined and you want to know about those celebrations of Beltane. Those are not my specialty, but I love to nerd out about all that stuff. And what else? There is also an energy ritual that you can do with sacred fire, which is simply lighting a candle or 2 candles if you like. If you want to light one for masculine energy, for one for feminine energy, if you want to write down on a rolled up piece of paper your intentions for this new season or for your rebirth or the joining of your own internal masculine and feminine energies. You can slip that scroll between the 2 candles, being fire safe of course. Some people prefer to burn the paper with their intentions or wishes or manifestations on it. That is totally up to you. Some people also like to, instead of roll the paper up, fold it. Remember, if you're manifesting something towards you, fold the paper towards you, go clockwise. If you are banishing something, fold it away, go counterclockwise. But some people also like to include little bits of tree or little bits of herb in there that are pertinent to whatever you are banishing or manifesting. So that is something else that you can do as an energetic tool and technique at this time. But with that being said, beautiful souls, I know that most of you are busy on a weekend night, so I am going to close this up for the night now. I hope that this little energy update and information on the reading specials, on Beltane, and on energy updates and techniques and Duat and Dark Night of the Soul and rebirth processes has helped you. Remember, you can find your reading and on reading special anytime on my website, Damsel Designs, damcldesigns.com. If you would like to explore more of my work, you can also find me on my Chat and Channel Sessions podcast by searching #chat&channel on YouTube to find my YouTube channel if you're not already on it. It's always linked in the bio or description. And you can also search #chat&channel on Amazon Music, Audible, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, and the other streaming platforms to listen. It is my spiritual podcast where we do a stream of consciousness channeling on various topics. Lately, we have been focusing on quantum and unconscious consent, reality creation, psychic attack, and understanding and preventing that. So many wonderful things in there, and the full backlog playlist is available on my YouTube channel as well. So you can deep dive on that and learn something from me night or day, anytime. I am going to close this video out here. As I said, I am wishing you all a blessed Beltane or May Day if you celebrate, and a blessed Mother's Day month if you celebrate that, and a wonderful May no matter what you celebrate. I hope to be reading for more of you this month and bringing in those blessed rebirth and positive mothering and positive spring energies no matter where you are in the world. I really appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Turn that bell notification on to catch me next time live. With love, light, and light codes, love Danielle, #Damsel at Dees and Light Edits of damseldesigns.com.